Norman Thomas, 6 times candidate for president on the Socialist Party ticket, said the American people would never vote for socialism. But he said under the name of liberalism, the American people would adopt every fragment of the socialist program.
When this bill is law, 3 strikes and you're out will be the law of the land.
They are absolutely destroying the traditional Western civilization right before our eyes.
And I consider it part of my responsibility as President of the United States to fight against negative stereotypes of Islam wherever they appear.
The intent of the founders, that's what the Supreme Court is supposed to do.
I declare, I'm not going to pay for that wall.
Donald Trump want to protect our nation because he said that if he's in office, he will find the enemy and destroy the enemy.
Welcome to the Abolitionists Roundtable, your all-access pass to the 2016 Red, White, and Blue Conservative Revolution. Join the conversation at 734-822-1600. Now here are your hosts, Del Marsh, Phil Stargell, and Janice Daniels.
All right, good morning. Welcome to the Abolitionist Roundtable. We have so much on the agenda this morning, folks. We're in a war right now. We're going from a civil war to a revolution. This is what Democrats want. And Democrats and Obama, they're the party of war. What I mean by that, folks, war, the people that you see in the street, this is a war on our process here. We have a process that we have an electoral college. It's not about popular vote. If it was about popular vote, all we have to do is they can get California and get and New York and get a few other little states in there. The rest of the states around the country would not matter at all. And that's why they came up with this process called the electoral college, because they were large states, and they said, well, hold on, you know, when they come up, the founders were brilliant to come up with this process in the first place. Brilliant. Not about a popular vote. Absolutely not. And so we see liberals right now in the streets, folks. Right now in the street. These are registered Democrats. These are Democrat voters right now that's in the street. Now, when I talk about war, we thinking about, you know, when we fight wars on you know, with guns and bulletproof vests and all this kind of stuff right here. Well, we have a war going on in our nation right now, a war of words, a war of undermining our values. This was a nation based on Christian values, and those values are being undermined. We have in the street, these young kids are all communists coming off these college campuses. They want communism. You know, I have to go back and look at some of the things that they say. And so the Democrats and liberals have these kids out there right now trying to undermine this a great system. It reminds me of of something that, you know, that if they hate this country so much, you know, it's people around the world that would love to take their place. They would love to take and this opportunity that they have. They wouldn't be in the street. They would take this opportunity and do very well and help their families all around the world. And this is why people from all around the world want to come to America, because of great opportunities that they can lift their families out of the abyss that they're in. Even people that's in these Democrat-run cities that are impoverished. If you go in their house, you know, which I went into somebody's house. I was at a funeral, and I went to somebody's house that live in what they call community housing. Man, they had a big, huge 60-inch flat screen TV. But again, they concerned about being cut off different social programs, and I reminded them, instead of social programs you need to be worried about, what you need to be concerned with is there's going to be an economic boom that's going to come, and you need to be out there taking advantage of this. But we won this election, and Donald Trump-elect, President-elect, has not ascended into position yet, and everything in the street is a war on every process that has made this country great. And so we're going to get into a number of things. I'm going to show you from a number of different articles what the Democrats or liberals have said themselves that's going to set the table for this subject, that the Democrat Party is the war party. It's not, they don't want to fight wars overseas against evil, but they want to fight wars right here against the American people, because I drive a SUV. I have an SUV at my house. My wife drives an SUV because I turn my heat up to 72 when it's cold. Because I believe that we should drill. We just recently heard about Texas finding this massive oil well, and so we'll get into that. So it's because of the everything that's going on around the world. Liberals have come to the conclusion that everything, all the oppression, all the everything that's going on around the world is because of Americans, and we're gonna discuss that. And here, let me just mention one remark real quick, and then we're going to hear from the Abolitionist Roundtable. If you'd like to join the conversation, give us a call at 734-822-1600. This is from whitehouse.gov, and President Obama, he did a conference call with grassroots supporters. He told them, hey, get your chin up. I'll be back out there. We're going to organize this again. We're gonna find out what we did wrong, and we're gonna go into these communities, and we're gonna win some elections again. Folks, what was on the ballot last week was Obama's policies, which is still a mystery as his poll numbers. I heard his polls just went up, Mayor. They
lie.
Well, it is a lie, but people have. They see that the person Obama and the policies Obama is two different things, and I believe that that's where these fraudulent poll numbers come from. Phil,
yeah,
is that where?
Same thing. I mean, they have lied about Obama's record and his accomplishments, but they have never admitted to the one fact that Obama is like a fish out of water. He is a socialist communist, and his policies do not fit the American model. George Soros is a billionaire today because he understands the American model. He don't like it, but he took advantage of it.
Oh boy, and become very wealthy, very, and that wealth has translated into him, like I mentioned earlier, meeting with. This is from the political insider, and it says that just before Trump takes office, George Soros announced a plan to obstruct this process right here. Do you know that I've seen and if you look at this political article, and if you want to listen to the show again and network it, you can go to our website, artofmichigan.com. It's an icon right on the side. Click on our YouTube, and this show will be on there Monday. But one of the things that he said that at his inauguration, Mayor, that they're gonna disrupt his inauguration. Now let's just reverse this. What if Republicans or conservatives or patriots had did something like this to President Obama?
Well, you know what would have happened? It would have been all over the media that we've made this major disruption. But in fact, if it happens at the Trump inauguration, it'll be the show of good civil disobedience. This is the foundation of America.
Yeah.
You know, we have a right to protest and we have a right to disagree with our government. But if it had been on the other shoe, it of course would have been the most horrible thing. AstroTurf,
it would have been
anarchists.
The Klan is rising.
Tea Party Klan is back arising. Yeah. But you mentioned this conference call with the grassroots supporters that President Obama conducted on November 14. And in that conference, he said, basically, I just ticked off what we accomplished in terms of saving the economy, cutting unemployment in half, lowest uninsured in history, incomes up, wages up, historic climate deal, all of these things. So we're safer today than we were when Obama took office.
Is that what he
and
said?
the interesting, that's exactly what he said. And the interesting thing is
Yes.
I've said for a long time, he's not talking to you and me.
Yes.
He's talking over our shoulder to our kids.
Yes.
Our kids who have never really had to create a budget, maintain a budget, have never had to worry about whether or not they could get a loaf of bread.
Yes.
You see, so he's talking about all these fantasy improvements in our lives,
Yes.
and this wonderful economy that he's created, because our children don't know that $20 trillion debt right now is theoretical.
Yes.
But in the future, it might mean that they can't buy a loaf of bread.
Oh, it's coming.
You see,
yes.
and so as long as they are kept in this bubble of believing what this I don't even know what to call him anymore. I don't if I would call him delusional if he wasn't so frighteningly effective, because if he's delusional, then that really means that he, I don't know, does he believe what he's saying? I think he believes what he's saying.
It's a little bit of two things. It's propaganda, and he kind of believes some of that.
Yeah,
trash,
because
too.
I think if I was lying to the people, and I knew I was lying to the people, like we probably think he does know that he's lying to the people, I'd start laughing at some point if I was carrying on this lie.
One of the things you said, when you said health care, that all these people that he put on health care and all these people that don't have health care now, and then a number of people that I'm talking about that seen their health care go up 3 times what it was.
Yeah.
And so that is unrealistic right there. That's overwhelming. That is a lie right there. He knows. He see that a lot of the insurance companies are getting out of the insurance business because it's just unaffordable.
Again, he says they have health insurance,
Yeah.
but do they really have health care?
Well, that's
we had health
that's
care.
a propaganda word
That's
right
right.
there.
That's
You're
right.
right.
See, we had health care
Yes.
before Obamacare. You could
Yes.
walk into any emergency room, and rich or poor, white or black, you could get health care.
That's right.
And now there's this illusion that we have health insurance. And so now the people are good. Well, quite frankly, I don't have health insurance
Okay.
because I can't afford it anymore.
Yeah.
Well,
It's become too expensive.
you remember the number was 40 million uninsured. You remember?
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, what did he say that he's got coverage for?
20 million.
20 million. So we know he knows that he was lying.
Yeah.
But
It's a
let's,
redistribution.
and let's take it a little bit further. What about the 700 or 800 billion dollars that he took, that he said he was going to put into the infrastructure when he first came in 2009? What did he do? He had this money, and he put it supposedly for shovel-ready jobs.
And he put it into the Wall Street bankers' pockets.
That's exactly
That's
right.
what he did.
And then he turned around and said, "There's no such thing as a shovel-ready
Yeah.
job."
remember.
Ha ha, I guess they weren't as
So-
shovel
and
ready.
he knows-
Yeah.
laughed about it.
And he
Yeah.
laughed
Mocked
about it,
Yes.
yeah.
He knows fully well that he's lying, and the media knows. That's the problem. The watchdogs of our economy and our
What used to
society.
be, used to be.
Right.
Th-
Should
again,
be.
we-
Should be.
Should be.
Yeah.
And we just talked about this a couple of weeks ago. Now they've merged together, and
Yeah.
now they're become the state
And this
media.
is where it's critical. Trump's idea is to put money into the business sector, the industry of this country, by saying that he's going to cut taxes and bring that money back here to build back our infrastructure in business in this country. Now, the Democrats have told you and lied to you and told you that tax cuts for the rich is a trickle-down economy and all of that nonsense. But it works. And the only way that we're going to do it is if we hold the media to the feet to the fire and make them explain what is really happening, and not accept this idea that it only benefits the rich, because the lesson of George Bush was it did work, and he did have low unemployment, and he did have a lot of work going on in the industry, but the bankers is what failed this economy because of the housing situation.
Well, he's seen that. He's seen that coming too.
Yeah.
You know, we seen that. I remember when me and my wife was in the process of selling our house, and I was looking at houses. I'm like, I'm not about to pay this.
Yeah.
This is too much. I saw it, and so we saw this. And I remember President Bush, and I don't want to go back and litigate his administration, but I'm just going to point out that that we know that it was the Clinton administration that had this, what was it called again? The Community Reinvestment Act?
Yes, yes.
That's what it was called, the Community Reinvestment Act.
A Barney Frank special.
And so we saw that, and they saw that process happening where there were people that went out and got houses they couldn't afford. And kind of like this health care that people can't afford too.
Right.
And so, but you notice that Democrats always want you to have something you can't
afford.
And then once it crashed, first ones they'll say, well, it was them. I knew it wasn't, but we saw.
Well, they blame it on George Bush.
Yeah,
tax cuts for the rich.
Well, but it wasn't tax cuts on the rich because President Bush saw that this was coming. He went to Democrats, and the Democrats, first thing they said, because I watched this on C-SPAN, the Democrats, first thing they said, he don't like minorities. He don't want to help people that want to get in houses. But we saw this housing bubble because people got stuff that was just way over their head. And of course, once we saw it come down,
led by a bunch of the illegals that
illegals was out there buying houses that they couldn't afford because they got a job cutting grass.
Remember the term ninja mortgages?
Right.
no
income. You know better than anybody else.
I
was in the industry, and I saw these programs come down from the banks, and I said, how could this be?
Yes.
How could this be? But then what happened? These were government forced programs that the banks were told to give to people to expand the ability to buy houses. So the banks offered these programs. Brokers such as my company, or not, it's not my company, but the company I work for, you offered these to the people, and then the government came back and said, well, why'd you even offer those programs to the people? Well, because you made them available to me. Right. I'm not the borrower's mother. I'm not going to say, hey, well, now, wait a minute, can you really afford this?
And guess what? Liberals turned around and made you the bad guy.
That's right.
Here.
That's exactly right.
They called what the program that you created for poor people that the Democrats wanted you to create.
Forced.
They called you a predatory lender.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Remember you're like, wait a minute, how can the bank be a predatory lender? I had people running around talking about I was manipulated by these predatory banks. Wait a minute, didn't you go to John? You know John, don't you? The lender? Yeah, I know John. What didn't you and John sit down and discuss? Yeah, we did. Well, how is it that you were manipulated by the bank? You went to somebody you know and y'all discussed what the kind of mortgage that you got.
I've attended enough closings through the years to tell you that every single title company representative that conducts the closing explains the package, explains the program. If it's one of the programs that's no longer even available, one of those ARM kind of programs where it's for 2 years there's a really low rate, and then for 28 years there's a higher escalating rate. They know about it when they sign the bottom line. They know about it.
You saw it.
That's
what
right.
What happened is that when it was time to refinance, that if that house value went down, and so
see, and that's there's always risk associated with any trade, any endeavor, any trade between two honest people. There's some risk somewhere involved. And had the housing market continued to go up, everyone would have been fine, but it didn't. There was the bubble. House prices collapsed, and then all of a sudden all these mortgages that people got, they couldn't afford. But on top of that, in conjunction with that, at the very same time, those trade deals took our jobs overseas.
Yep.
So not only did people's houses come down in value, but they lost their jobs. So it was, but you never see that tied together. And I'm reading an interesting article, and it's called "Why Campaign Finance Rules Make Free Speech Expensive for the Little Guy." You mentioned the fact that we should hold the media's feet to the fire.
Right.
Well, you know, we all talk about having free speech and how wonderful that is. It's protected by the Constitution. We have free speech. However, free speech is not inexpensive speech.
Right.
If you're going to get your message across, no matter how great your message is, if you can't get your message across, and if you're going to get your message across, it's very costly to do so. So you see, we don't have the ability to hold the media's feet to the fire because they've got the George Soroses of the world.
You're right, absolutely. That's going to spend that money. But
That's right.
Let me just mention this real quick, that President-elect Trump figured out that he can. He used the media. He went around the media and he used something else that they had no idea. He used something that was the least expensive media process ever invented by man, and he didn't have to pay for it. It was called Twitter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what helped him.
Exactly right.
That's what helped him spend less money per voter than, if I'm not mistaken, it was 3 times less money than the Clinton crime family spent on per voter.
He is masterful.
Yeah, by using
he is
that right there.
masterful.
Yeah,
Not
yes.
only Twitter,
Yes.
but he also created scenarios
Yes.
where the media pounced on it
That's right.
and then expanded it
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
spread it around the world.
Yeah.
Free of charge.
That's right.
I mean, he's masterful.
And the media kept saying, Trump needs to stay off the Twitter.
Yes, that's right. That's right. And so then what happened is Obama see this going on, that he was using Twitter. Now he go on all the comedy shows and he want to read what they call mean tweets. Remember that?
Yeah.
That just happened. I'm gonna read. He want to read the mean tweets of President Obama. And so, but yeah, that was a we've seen a masterful campaign that was done. And so, but now we see that again, we've seen this guy Eugene Robinson, somebody that's on CNN, and he said, "I hope that this administration fail." You notice that they can't even come up with an original thought. That's something that they so-called believe that Rush Limbaugh said, and he didn't say that. He said that he hoped socialism failed.
Yeah.
That's all he said. Socialism.
Yeah.
The social constructed of the United States. That's what he wanted to fail, and I wanted it to fail too. And we can see that this social environment that we in. This is from one of the things that they working on right now from Planned Parenthood. Planned Parenthood, and this is from Fox News. Planned Parenthood put out on one of the social networks that you can get a job making $1,500 a week if you go out and protest at Donald Trump's rallies. Can you believe they were paying $1,500 a week? Wow. They was paying $15 an hour plus overtime.
Wow.
So, and where's the majority of their money coming from?
They wanted you to come to protest and stay.
Absolutely. And so, again, this is and the reason why they hired people to go out and do this. Planned Parenthood. This is the company that kill people, that kill babies, that kill the innocent,
and sell the parts,
and sell their parts. And this administration act like, well, there's nothing wrong with that at all. The president can even go to a Planned Parenthood meeting and even say, God bless what you're doing. God bless what you're doing.
Right.
Murdering the innocent, murdering children that never had a day in court, never had their trial. You're saying, God bless America. But anyway, they're trying to protect their own interests also. So they sent out people. Can you believe Planned Parenthood hired some of these goons that's out in the street right now, paying them $1,500 a week? 15. Well, a lot of them did throw the hamburger down. Why should I work here?
Yeah.
I could go get a job with Planned Parenthood as a protester. Folks, if you'd like to join the conversation, give us a call, 734-822-1600. We'll see you on the other side of the break.
You're listening to the Abolitionists Roundtable, patriotic, red, white, and blue, conservative all-access radio, with your hosts, Del, Phil, and Janice. They're leading the charge and advancing the conservative revolution. Join the conversation at 734-822-1600.
Hello, I'm Milt, and this is Logically Speaking Uncensored, a basket full of deplorables. If an unmovable object and an unstoppable object collide, what would be the results of the impact? The answer to this mystery eludes the wisdom of academic scholars and philosophers. On Tuesday, November 8, 2016, two objects, Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump, will collide for the presidency of the United States of America. Hillary has been empowered by the Democrat Party to continue President Obama's malevolent efforts to transform the nation into a Christian-phobic society of secular humanists, anti-nationalists, and genocidal abortionists. Donald Trump was nominated by a plurality of legal Americans to advocate for national unity, as expressed in the phrase E pluribus unum, which translates as from many, one. And he has been selected as an oppositional force against anti-Americanism. I label Hillary's aggregations anti-Americans and Trump's aggregations pro-Americans. From the beginning of the United States of America, anti-American radicals and traitors have been obsessed with an almost unstoppable quest to discredit the Declaration of Independence, the Bill of Rights, and the Constitution, and nullify the incorporated beliefs and foundational principles that make the nation exceptional and great. From the beginning of the United States, brave national patriots like George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, and Ronald Reagan have fought courageously against evildoers, hell-bent on destroying the nation. And with a strong military and brave citizens, the nation has prevailed. President Obama, an employee of the Democrat Party, condones lawlessness by allowing illegal immigrants into the country. And he displays his Christian phobia sentiments by subsidizing residency for thousands of unassimilatable and unvetted Muslims. The Democrats' orchestrated plan is to dilute the white American population, whose new births are near or below replacement levels, and reduce black Americans' new birth replacement levels with genocidal abortions. But Democrats gladly facilitate increasing new birth replacement levels for foreign interlopers. If the destruction visited upon the United States by Democrat President Obama is what you desire, and you want more economic stagnation, unemployment, Obamacare, higher taxes, a weaker military, racial animosities, and cultural rot, along with more episodes of unchecked violence, lies, corruption, and socialism, you will be elated with Hillary, who is a replicated political reproduction of Obama on steroids. On Tuesday, when Hillary's anti-Americans collide with Trump's pro-Americans, there will be a political explosion. And the object propelled with the most voter power will determine the results of the impact. And because two of the same objects cannot occupy the same space at the same time, something has to give. Hillary called people opposed to her New World Order collectivist fascism a basket full of deplorables. On Tuesday, November 8, 2016, we, deplorables, by voting for Donald Trump, will show Hillary how much we, the people, deplore her. I am Milt, logically speaking, uncensored, saying, think about it.
All right, thank you. That's Milt Harris from Joshua's Trail, heard every Saturday right after this show. Yes, we open up for Joshua's Trail. But not only do we open up for Joshua's Trail, but later this morning you can listen to Derek, and he's going to give you all the top news on sports too. So, but here we're going to go to. We want to say good morning to Tom from South Lyon. America's waking up, huh? You're right. Good morning, Tom.
Good morning.
How you doing?
Good
morning. We can hear you loud and clear.
All right. I made a statement, and I'll make it again.
Okay.
Democrats have a hard time understanding that black Americans aren't dumb.
Absolutely. That's right. They not just black Americans, all Americans. They still want to keep forcing the agenda on the American people and on these urban communities. And these people are hurting. They hurting bad. And so they looking for a way out. And so we still have to outreach to them. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, good. Absolutely. And you know what? I grew up in the inner city. I was poor. And you know what? Before they announced who was poor and who was rich, we got along.
Yeah.
You're right about that. And not just that, we looked at people that did a little bit better than us, and we admired them and say, you know what, I'm going to work hard and I'm going to achieve and get myself up that ladder of mobility that's available to all Americans. But then liberals have a different perspective. They need to keep you in that underclass so that they can keep guaranteed voters for the rest of your life. And they want to keep your children down. That's why they don't let any opposition into the school system. To keep you dumbed down so that you can have a little bit of a level of success, but not too far off that off the reservation, though.
It's called a plantation.
Or plantation, too. Go ahead, Tom. How you doing? Go ahead.
Good. I want to tell you, I listened to your program for over a year.
You got to be kidding.
It's not an instant gratification thing here. It's you've been doing a good job, and I appreciate we had some effect on it. And thank you very much.
You're welcome. And we did have an effect. This was a major surprise because the Democrats didn't just lose. They took a beating. And that beating, I know Phil said we have to have the media be responsible for what they did. Well, the media is responsible for creating this illusion that Hillary was really doing a lot better than she was. In reality, they seen this. They knew that she was going to take a shellacking, a beating, a brawl. And right now, the Democrats are in the streets. They got all these young kids in the streets right now, creating a war of unrest because they believe that she lost unfairly to Donald Trump. Well, in theory, she didn't, because Hillary had Obama. She had the whole White House behind her. His wife. She had Bill out there, the first black president. And then when she could get up, and when she when she felt pretty good, she got out there a couple of days a week. Even though Trump was doing rallies 5 times a day. This guy's 70 years old. He was doing rallies he was all over the country.
Till late in the evening.
Till late at night. I heard the man get up at 5 in the morning, Phil.
Yeah.
All right, Tom. I'm going to let you get the last word, Tom.
Well, thank you for your time and everything and your effort, and keep it up, guys.
All right, thank you, Tom.
And girl,
thank you.
And the mayor,
I was going to say something, but I was going
I don't want that rat coming down on me.
All right, thanks a lot. Here, I just want to mention that one of the things that we just heard this week that we seen de Blasio, we seen Emmanuel, the Corleone of Chicago. Matter of fact, folks, did you know that Chicago has had almost a historic number of murders in their city? And Rahm Emanuel had the nerve, and a number of mayors had the nerves to come out, and this is from ABC News. Mayors in sanctuary cities say they'll fight Trump's plan. They're going to fight his plan. We're talking about just help bring down crime in your cities. But Phil, explain to me, why would they want to defy, we know they want to defy laws. We've seen Eric Holder when he was the Attorney General. He went to all Attorney Generals he had a meeting with. If you don't like a law, he said this right here, don't defend it.
Right, and that comes from old nationalist rhetoric by guys like Dick Gregory. Mm-hmm. He used to say, if you don't like a law, get yourself some friends together and change it. Change the law.
So go out. So basically that translates to go out, break windows, burn cars, break into businesses, steal their stuff, and then you're going to get the laws changed.
And then I heard recently supposed one of the Never Trumpers say that people used social media today to change laws. They get you a couple of thousand people and take up an online petition and change the law.
Yeah.
So this is what these clowns are trying to do.
Yes.
They're offering freebies to people to come into this country and undermine the law as it stands now, and for them to change the law just to or ignore the law.
That's right.
Because they want lawless cities. Like them
they want lawless cities. You see, they want lawless. Is that what they're trying? Are they trying to create unrest in their own cities, man?
And why is it all of the major cities of the United States sanctuary cities?
Yes.
Well, I think that basically it's all part of that Agenda 21, even, if you will. It's to destroy traditional Western civilization. Quite frankly, I truly believe that, because it doesn't make sense to say they look at Donald Trump's policy of deporting violent criminals, illegal alien criminals, and they say, well, we're afraid that he's going to deport more than just the criminals. Well, why would you say that? Why would you take it to that level? Why don't you first try and see if we can deport violent illegal criminals? That makes a lot of sense, and there's no way you can dispute that. It makes sense to deport violent illegal criminals.
And all we're saying is that if you came here through an illegal process, that there's a process that the immigration system is not broken.
No, it's not.
There's still a legal process that you can go through, and you can become a citizen. But you see liberals, you see how they interested in protecting lawlessness.
Yeah,
protecting lawlessness.
Well, first of all, they say, well, a lot of these people are working hard and they haven't committed any crime, but they forget the fact that they committed a crime by being here.
Absolutely.
I mean, just by coming into our country illegally, they are a criminal.
And we also know that it used to be a felony to come into the country illegally.
I think it's still, isn't it still a felony?
No,
they just don't follow the law.
No.
We just don't follow the laws.
It's not a felony any longer. And that was the process of making these sanctuary cities. I mean, that all evolved from that. What they're saying is, if a person has a right to come into this country and ignore the laws of the country because of the sanctuary cities, and then the lowering of the penalty phase of the process. In other words, it's no longer a felony.
Yeah. You know what else they forget to mention, that in these cities where they have all these lawless people, they have all these illegals that come in, they take jobs away from Americans that's looking for jobs. Second, because they will work on what they call so-called under the table, they'll work for a lower wage. And so, again, this affects the economics of
right.
those particular cities.
But some of them have used identity theft, which is a very big problem.
It is.
Right.
Some of them, and I know that for a fact because I think I told you before that there is somebody that worked under my Social Security number.
Oh, wow.
Up in Flint, Michigan.
Uh-huh.
And man, they accrued a nice little piece of money that if I could get it, I would be happy, you know.
Okay.
But you know, it's like about 16 years of contributions to my pension.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Under your name?
Under my
your Social Security number. Okay.
And it's about 16 years of contributions.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden it stopped.
Well, again, this is what the federal government want. They want this additional money in the coffers so that they can spend on different social programs. But here, I want to go ahead and change subject for a minute. We just heard an announcement this week that Keith Ellison is they want to run for the DNC chair. Now the Democrats, they're all over everywhere. We had revelation of that lady. What's her name? That gave Hillary questions and gave her to answer the questions. What's her name again?
Donna Brazile.
Donna Brazile. Yeah. So she's out, and then before Donna Brazile, what's her name?
Wasserman Schultz.
Schultz. She was out, and now so we have somebody that's a real radical. So this is letting us know how distant the Democratic Party is from the American people. Well, I want to let you. We're going to hear just a little bit from Keith Ellison. He did an interview on Vice News that's on HBO. And so, Derek, if you don't mind playing 903, and then we're going to get into that. If you'd like to join the conversation, give us a call again at 734-822-1600.
It should never have been this close. I mean, Donald Trump is the single worst person ever to win the nomination of a major party. When I say bad person, I mean like, you know, every sexist thing he said, every racist thing he said is just deplorable. Well, you know, deplorable, quite frankly. Now, I don't say that about his supporters, but I say it about the way he campaigned in this election. Everybody's kind of hoping that he campaigned one way and is going to govern another. We will see.
All right. Well, let me ask you something, Mayor. I'm going to go to the mayor first. Did Obama campaign on hope and change?
Yeah.
It was hope first and then change. Now we see the change. Where's the hope at?
Yeah, I think the hope. I always said we got to hope against hope to change the change. Yeah. that's where my hope was.
The bottom line is that he campaigned one way.
Absolutely.
It was a very positive.
And what politician doesn't?
And then did he govern against the American people? That's what I wanted to point out.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And in fact, I think Donald Trump, as a non-politician, is thus far holding true to what he said he was going to do. I love his appointments. I love Jeff Sessions as the Attorney General. I love Mike Pompeo as the CIA Director. I love Mike Flynn as the National Security Advisor. So Donald Trump is making good on his promises. Mm-hmm. I'm just thrilled at this point. I'm truly thrilled.
But it shows you how slimy Democrats are as an institution. This guy says everybody is hoping that Trump actually changes.
Governs differently
than he campaigned.
No,
that's not what people are hoping.
No, that's not.
We're demanding that he
stay the same.
Yes, do what he promised.
Yeah.
I just want to. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so bossy. I'm telling you. Well, you know what? I'm a girl. I can't help it. I have the right. I have the right. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Now, I just wanted to say something about what Keith Ellison says and does. We have to build that case against this guy.
Yeah, I thought you got something to say about Keith Ellison too. Once the mayor finished. Go ahead, Mayor. Go ahead.
Well, I was looking up at Trevor Loudon's got a website called keywiki.org, and that's where he details all the history of the commies. Mm-hmm. And he's got Keith Ellison, a nice page. You can see all of the involvement that Keith Ellison has in the Communist Party, etc. But in June of 2010, he said, "No security policy position can be premised on military might." Now, let that sink in a little bit. No security policy position can be premised on military might? how else are you going to be secure without military might?
Right.
But he says, the way it works is we are a country guided by ideals of equality, generosity, and engagement in our relations with other nations, and those philosophical ideals create safe borders. And then he finished by saying, and God willing, one day the border will become an irrelevancy.
Yeah, that's right. They want to erase it.
They want to erase the border. So here's Keith Ellison, a Muslim, a communist sympathizer, and an open borders guy. Is that who the Democrat Party really want
Well, we
to
don't
lead
know. We think
them?
so. Yes.
I mean, the Democrat Party is destroying itself.
Yes.
Because it's exposing itself for who it really is.
They believe that they can undermine the American people.
I'm sure.
In this process that we have. Again, we've seen, there's a petition that's going around right now, Mayor. We talked about this, that people they say that we should do away with the electoral system and we should go by a popular vote.
Yeah.
Right.
And we know that, Democrats believe that that's the way that they can win, and we know that that process, the electoral college, to me, is the most brilliant process ever created by man, because it's not going to let states like California and New York, because they got more people, just automatically govern the whole country, and then politicians like Hillary and Obama, they won't have to go to these small states
Exactly.
at all. And so those voices will be drowned out there.
Exactly. And as we've talked about earlier, it seems that about 3 million illegal aliens might have voted in this last election. And if we can prove that, if this group called True the Vote, which is, I think, trying to lead the effort to prove that these 3 million illegals voted in this last election, if they can prove that, then Donald Trump not only won the Electoral College vote, he won the popular vote.
Exactly. But one of the things, quickly, we have to guard against is this early voting and then the move to go to electronic voting, because that would offset the effect of the Electoral College. So we have to be very careful about how we allow this voting process to be changed.
And with all this early voting, electronic voting, and again, the corruption it's not the process. The corruption was that the news media tried to manipulate the whole country, and the whole country reversed and showed you in every city and county around the United States that they fed up with it, and they're absolutely fed up with it.
This last vote, there were more people that were that crossed over and voted Republican than actually woke up and joined the process. Because a lot of people said, well, there's a lot of people out there that didn't vote for the last 10 years. The figures are coming in that a lot of Democrats just crossed over and started voting Republican. So that's what worries me, because we still have a bunch of people out there that are not participating in the process.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, again, it was they didn't count it, but a number of people voted for third-party candidates.
Oh yeah, true.
But they didn't write in either one. But we see that
but what's
this
happened
repudiation of whenever there was ballots that were on the whenever there were anything related to taxes that were on the ballot, the people voted against that.
Yes, exactly.
Matter of fact, I don't know if you've seen this right here. Macomb County is the most was the biggest Donald Trump supporter in Michigan.
Wow.
Macomb County. They had the biggest support from Macomb County. The biggest support. And also Macomb County had the biggest biggest opposition to the transportation authority.
The regional transit authority, right? I thought you were going to go transgender.
Not transgender, but that was going to raise our taxes over 20 years at that 1.5%. I mean, I thought that was impressive.
For another layer of government bureaucracy.
And so, again, folks, we want to thank you for joining the Abolitionist Roundtable. You can go to our website, artofmichigan.com. You can click on our YouTube. You can get a copy of this show. You can network it. Go ahead and become a subscriber, and we'll see you next week.
Talk 1,600 listeners to continue the roundtable discussions by mailing correspondence to Art of Michigan, Post Office Box 135, Garden City, Michigan 48135.
Or follow Phil, Del, and Janice at artofmichigan.com. You can also send emails to artofmichigan@hotmail.com. And most of all, continue to listen every Saturday and tell a friend.